Since making my all-rare champion team that I covered in a video last week, roughly speaking, I've got a newfound appreciation, man, for certain rare champions in this game, and I feel like they deserve the extra call-out. Look at the amount of control we have against the Stage 25 wave of enemies in Ice Golem, man, and it's all because of a very, very special type of rare champion that we're going to be covering a whole bunch of in this video that you might want to consider building out on your own account. Not just because they're great against waves of enemies and offer great value in wave content, but also because of the advanced quests that you can get in your quest log that requires you to clear certain faction war stages with at least one rare champion on the team, as well as like rare secret rooms in Centranos and stuff like that. That's all to say that it's well worth building out hidden gem rare champions like Banshee. And here's why. Before we get to that, man, if you're looking to set up a new raid account, make sure to get it done right now using my beginner promo link, which is down below, as always, at the top of the video description box, man. Simply click on that link on your PC, use it to sign up to raid and create a new account. You're going to get yourself Corrado Fox Hunter as your free starter legendary champion as soon as you're done with the tutorial, as well as a whole bunch of just S-tier quality epic champions that will arrive in your inbox as you level up your account as well. Best beginner promo link going, Insanity. This right here is the webpage that you're going to use that link will take you to create your new raid account, and bam! Best start possible is unlocked. So why is Banshee so good? Well, frankly, on her own, Banshee isn't that amazing. Depends how you gear her up, right? We're obviously talking about stun set rare champions that can offer immense value to your account, just building them fast in a stun set. And that's it, and they offer great value. So Banshee is an incredible candidate for such a stun set. Why? Attack all enemies on the A1. Great, that's already amazing. 30% chance of placing weak version decreased defense debuff for 1 turn. Not too bad. If you get a good amount of Awakening Stars on your Banshee, you can of course get the Nature's Bounty Blessing and have a chance of landing the strong version of decreased defense instead. But even still, it's an attack all enemies A1, just great by default. Then she's got a 2-turn cooldown, attack all enemies on the A2 with a 65% chance booked of removing 1 random buff from each target, right? 2-turn cooldown fully booked. That's kind of crazy as hell, man. That means that if you want, you could just have her constantly alternate between the A1 and the A2, just on repeat, constantly attacking all enemies with that stun set. Also worth noting as well is that if you are going to build out one of these stun set rare champions and you're going to commit to making them just one of your stun set gods for wave content or for that faction wars quest and all of that, then getting up their masteries and getting the Fearsome Presence mastery to increase the chance of placing stun from artifact sets by 5% is absolutely well worth it, right? The stun set by default gives you 18% chance to land that stun, up to 23% once you've got that mastery keyed in. Another one of these champ types that you can consider is going to be Abyssal, who also brings an attack all enemies on his A1 with a chance of placing block buffs. Debuff, very solid. The rest of his skills are a little bit meh. Most people are just going to go ahead and disable his A2 and the team preset manager, just mini heal every 3 turns, that's sort of whatever. You kind of want him to be spamming his A1 more often, but you just bring some weak version of buffs on a 4-turn cooldown on his A3 that I suppose you can leave this one enabled, because at the end of the day, it's every 4th turn. Most of the time, he's spamming the A1, getting off stun set value, and of course, Abyssal also brings ally speed in faction crypts by 16%, which if you don't have a good active aura, speed being like some of the best auras in the game, for your demon spawn faction crypts, he could even be your aura lead, man, up until a point. Another champion in a similar vein that's mega slept on is Ingrid Twiststaff. This guy is great for the Sylvan Watchers faction. Of course, they've got support champions kind of coming out of their ears. But if you're just needing some wave control, Ingrid Twiststaff in a stun set is amazing as well. He's got a double hit to A1 with chance of missing defense. That's kind of whatever. We'll go to his A3 first because it's most important. He gets a 3-turn cooldown, attack all enemies, places increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then has a 75% chance of placing leech debuff across the wave of enemies for 2 turns as well, which is significant because he's also got a 3-turn cooldown, attack all enemies A2, filling his turn meter by 5% for each leech debuff on each enemy. So, bit of turn meter fill. Leech debuff is kind of good everywhere. It's like just like a universally useful debuff to have on up. And multiple attack all enemy skills on 3-turn cooldowns. You can't really go wrong, man. He's one of the unsung heroes of a good stun set on your account. But who is the best stun set rare champion in the entire game that I feel like basically every account in the game should try and build this guy out with a stun set because of his room to grow on your account over time? Dude, where is Bellower? There he is, man. This champ right here is insane, right? It's just crazy. The guy is nuts, right? He's got attack all enemies on every single skill, first of all. That's lovely as is, brings ally speed and faction crits. It's only small, but it's a little bit of something. But the really, really cool thing about Bellower is that he brings very, very important and solid debuffs with like all of his skills. He brings block active skills, 30% land rate on the A1, which is lovely into waves of enemies. The A2 brings an AoE decreased speed, 75% land rate. It's only the weak version, but that only matters but so much. We'll get to why in just a sec. Well, you guys already know about the Nature's Bounty Blessing. It's not exactly a spoiler, but I'll cover it in more detail in just a sec. So it brings weak version decreased speed, and then brings weak version decreased attack, and weak version decreased defense. 100% land rate. Yeah, it's on a 4-turn cooldown, but whatever, man. Like 100% land rate, 2 weak versions of very, very important debuffs as well. Incredible in a stun set for the amount of stuns that he can be getting off, and the way that I've got my Bellower built on out, and the reason I like using him so much in a stun set. It's not just for the crazy wave control. If we go into his masteries as well, of course, he's also got the fearsome presence mastery. He's got some offense build as well, because I use him as my campaign farmer as well. 6 or 7 second campaign farmer. Great stuff. But I've also awakened my Bellower 4 times, right? He's got like 4 red stars in his build, which makes that he gets pretty good value out of the Nature's Bounty Blessing, man. I cannot stress how good this blessing is on Bellower. It might actually be like Nature's Bounty on Bellower might be the best, like, just like single champion candidate in the game for the Nature's Bounty Blessing, because he brings so many weak versions of so many debuffs, right? And with the 4 Awakening Stars, I've got a 30% chance of placing the stronger versions of the debuffs instead of the weaker versions, right? Of decreased attack, decreased defense, and decreased speed. And so he just has so much room to grow, man. Like, if you can get like a 5 or 6 star Awakening on the Bellower, it goes up to like a 60% chance of landing the greater version of the debuff. It's just absolutely ridiculous, you know? Like, this champion then becomes, I don't know, like would it be like a lower tier legendary in terms of quality? In a stun set and with like full masteries? I don't know, man. Like, it becomes something absolutely nuts as a wave controller at that point, you know? Next up, another incredible stun set champion that you can run on. This one's kind of notorious too, man, but Soulborn Boya is great because she brings an attack all enemies A1. Because of course she does, and she has an additional 25% chance of inflicting a crit. And so what you can do with Soulbond, I think that she's got an A2 that can hit real hard as well. Attacks one enemy, extra 25% chance of inflicting a crit, will ignore 75% of the target's defense, and then she brings some 10-meter destruction as well on the A3. So you can disable or enable her A2 and her A3 sort of depending on what content you're using her in. Maybe you just wanted to spam her A1. That's also entirely a possibility as well. But the cool thing about Soulbond is that you can build her for like a good amount of damage. You only have to build her with 75% crit, really. And then for the most part, even if you got her in a stun set, you can still build her with a pretty good amount of damage in the build. And so she's kind of a unique one where she's not really a support type champ. She's going to be able to do like a reasonable amount of damage, but is going to be able to get a lot of value in that stun set. Once you've got like better damage dealers and stuff on your account, damage dealers that sort of replace her as like your main source of damage in Barbarian Faction Wars, which frankly shouldn't take too long, she can be sort of like relegated to the stun set role. In fact, sticking to the Barbarians, another champion that some people spotlight that frankly I don't believe in so much. I'm not a big believer at all, to be honest, in really max building out any of the uncommon champions. Zephyr Sniper, she does have an attack all enemies. It does have a 30% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on each enemy by 1 turn, which is a little bit of something, but I just feel like even then, the problem with uncommon champions, even in stun sets, right? Because there are some like the Saurus and Zephyr Sniper and whatever that you could hypothetically put in a stun set. First of all, in order to complete the advanced quest in the Faction War script, right? You've got to complete a Faction War stage using a rare champion. Well, the uncommon champions aren't going to help you with that because they're not rare, right? They're uncommon. That's the first thing, right? So it's just a little bit inconvenient with that. And second of all, you can't awaken your uncommon champions. And so they're always going to, like, as your account kind of matures a little bit, your account goes like beyond like the 1 year mark, you know, it's starting to get a little bit aged, a little bit haggard. You get to a point where like almost every champion that you're actually using on your account is going to start to have at least a couple of red stars. You know, you're going to start to awaken most of your champion roster. At that point, it's obviously harder to get legendary awakenings and all of that. But uncommon champion builds are just going to start to fall behind pretty precipitously, so I wouldn't really recommend it. Another champion that I wouldn't quite recommend building in a stun set, to be honest, that again, some people really, really believe in this guy, is actually Roughstone. Roughstone does have an attack all enemies A1. My issue with Roughstone is that That's all he's got. It doesn't have any extra bonus effect of like even Zephyr Sniper's A1 is more effective than Rough Stones. You know what I'm saying? At least it has a chance of like increasing enemy cooldowns and stuff, which is a little bit of something extra. And his other two skills, they're single target hits. They're not really built for wave control at all. And then you consider that also in the Ogryn Tribes faction, you've got Bellower. Like, if you got, as soon as you get a Bellower, he's instantly going to take priority and just take all of the Roughstone stun set gear. If you build out Roughstone in a stun set, he's just going to take the gear instantly, and then the Roughstone, even if he's level 60, probably just becomes a chicken at that point. In fact, can you even... No, if you've taken him at level 60, you can't even use him as a 5-star chicken. Obviously, can you? So, well, I guess you just go ahead and put your level 60 Roughstone in the vault and wait for the day that raid eventually introduce 7-star champions. And you're able to use, like, 6-star champions as chickens to take people up to rank 7, you know? We all know that it's coming eventually, right? Just like Void Mythicals. Everybody's just waiting for the first Void Mythical to come along. Everyone's waiting for 7-star champions to become a thing eventually. I don't know, dude. I think that it's in the pipeline. Almost certainly, man. It's just a natural progression, you know? Oh, it's gonna be horrible. Anyways, man, next champion, also immense in a stun set. And by the way, man, I recently did an account takeover that had this champion on their account. They had him sitting in the reserve vault alongside all the other chickens on the account, like all of like the food champions. I was like, bro, you gotta build out Kerzad D-Pat, man. This guy is crazy good. Like, he is nuts good, man. I feel like even in higher end, like just pretty solid Iron Twins teams, he just fits into every single Iron Twins team on your account because of his A1. 100% land rate, decreased speed debuff, strong version on the A1. Just have him spam that for the entire fight against Iron Twins because it's constantly removing debuffs from itself, right? And so it's important that you've got someone on the team that can just constantly reapply decreased speed. He's always going to find value in that dungeon, which is lovely. And then everywhere else, if he's built in a stun set, you don't even need to book the guy, man. Which is a rare champion. Oh, okay, it's not that big of a deal, but whatever, man. Maybe it's important to some people. You don't even have to put any books into him, dude. Like, he's fine without the skill books. Both of his attack all enemy skills on the A2 and on the A3 are already a 3-turn cooldown. And yeah, you can technically get 100% land rate, weak version decreased defense, I guess, by booking up his A3, but that's like literally the only benefit besides just doing a bit more damage to booking this guy out. He just doesn't need it. He's also Void Affinity, so isn't going to be weak hitting into any enemies. Great stun set value, just an amazing, amazing rare champion overall, man. He's one of those that I feel like until you've built him nice and quick in a good stun set and stuff, you don't really understand just how good he is, especially if you're not like getting started in Iron Twins in any series way yet on your account either. But he's a damn good one. Another champion that's worth shouting out as well that frankly I think is a little bit overrated, man. I feel like a lot of folks and a lot of like videos on YouTube would still have you believe that building out Felhound, oh, you gotta build out Felhound, man. Gotta build out Felhound as a campaign farmer. I tell you no, you gotta get him built, right? I don't really think so, man. I don't really think so. I think that if you pull him early on, okay, and he's like the only champ on your account that you've got to build as a campaign farmer, he's like your only option, so to speak, then fair enough. Build him as a campaign farmer, and then you're probably going to eventually build him in a stun set anyway to help out in faction wars and stuff like that. He just plays weak decreased speed on his A1, so that's pretty cool. Rest of his kit is garbage, by the way, like very, very bad. It's really old just about the A1. I don't feel like he's the biggest must-build champ ever. Like, not as much as people might have you believe in YouTube videos and stuff. I know a lot of those videos are older and a bit outdated and stuff, and so it sort of makes sense that that information is out there, but I don't think that Felhound is the biggest must build in the world for everybody, you know? He's not a bad one to build out in a stun set because of the decreased speed on the A1, but don't feel like you've got to build out the Felhound by any means necessary, you know? This is veering off the topic of the video just a little bit. Remember, I've got to touch on the two queens of the Demon Spawn faction when it comes to stun sets. Fantastic candidates. Are actually two champs that are right beside each other. I've touched on these gals before, but they're both like regular quality, so like non-void epic champs for the Demon Spawn faction. And they're basically the same champion. Like, they're just the same champion. They're both great in stun sets. Nazana is one of them. Attack all enemies on the A1. She brings an ally protect and shield buff on her A2 and a 310 cooldown. Good for survivability. She's HP based as well, by the way. And then on the A3, she brings an attack all enemies, decrease attack debuff, 310 cooldown, 75% land rate. Okay, not amazing, but you put her in a stun set and get her the correct masteries farmed up, and suddenly she's doing a hell of a lot of work for you to just like negate the impact of enemy waves completely. Right beside Nazana, we've also got Infernal Baroness, who also brings an attack all enemies A1, and who also brings an attack all enemies 75% land rate decrease attack on a 3-turn cooldown. How did this happen? How did this happen, man? At Plarium HQ, they just made the same champion twice. The only difference is that Infernal Baroness, in my view, probably a little bit weaker because instead of bringing Ally Protect and a shield with her other skill, she brings a 4-turn cooldown single target perfect build, which I think is a little bit naff, a little bit crappy. I think that Nazan is probably slightly better. In fact, I think that Nazan is a lot better, to be honest, but they're both kind of the same champion for the purposes of wave control, which is sort of hilarious, man, and I can't resist the urge to shout those gals out. Anyways, man, did I miss any of the stun set gods and goddesses? Let me know down below in the comments, man. These are just some champs that you can build out, again, for use in wave content, all of that good stuff. And I don't think I've regretted building a single one of them just yet at this point in time, man. They're just such a lovely comfort champ to build. Very, very easy to build. And yeah, that's it really. Let me know if I missed any down below. Hey, thanks for watching, man. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit like on the video. And of course, if you're looking to set up a new raid account, make sure that you get that done using my beginner promo link, which you can find down below at the top of the video description box, man, for the Corrado Fox Hunter stat, as well as a whole bunch of free epics as you level up your account. Thanks for stopping by. And I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.